A very warm welcome to you at the Gripathon. Why have we called this a Gripathon? Yes, because it's just like a marathon. It's not a sprint where using the grip will just last a year or two for our students. It's something that's going to go a long way, and working on this is essential in the early years. So let's dive right into it. Let's start with a few exercises to strengthen our fingers. Tap fingers on your arm. So take each finger and tap it one at a time. Next is to join the thumb to each finger. So thumb to the index finger, the tall man, ring man, and the little pinky. Let's try the inchworm. Take a pencil and crawl in a worm-like manner up the pencil and back. And last is the finger baton, where you twirl the pencil using your fingers. Now all of these were quite manageable, right? So which all skills are needed to do this with ease? And we have a whole list of them, and these are just some of them. Don't worry, we are not going to dive into this. These are just the building blocks to develop writing readiness. It's actually like walking. When a baby learns to walk, we don't really think of what all skills are needed to move from crawling to walking. It just happens naturally. Similarly, using a pencil with the right grip happens naturally for most kids. That is, when all the other skills are pretty much in place. Some children do have difficulties with this, and then they need a little support, which will again make it easy for them to use the pencil with the right grip. So what is the solution to build these skills? Prewriting skills. Yes, prewriting skills are the fundamental skills children need to develop before they are able to write. We're all aware of this term, and we know that these skills contribute to the child's ability to hold and use a pencil, and the ability to draw, write, copy, and color. A major component of prewriting skills are prewriting the shapes and strokes. So when we are working with our students, it is how they use their fingers, the strength that they have, which is important to ultimately achieve the goal of writing with fluency. When these skills are underdeveloped, it can lead to frustration and resistance due to the child not being able to produce legible writing or to keep up in class due to fatigue. We often notice there are a few children who are very creative and have fabulous ideas when they're speaking, but when it comes to writing, they prefer to keep their ideas very simple or probably sometimes not write at all. Why would this happen? It's because they're having some kind of difficulty while writing. They may find it uncomfortable or just plain get tired. This can then result in low self-esteem and poor academic performance. To avoid this, we have to work on our pre-writing skills. So let's look into a few hand strengthening activities. Using simple material like a clothespin, when they are using it, the amount of pressure that is needed to use it, or pushing pegs, we are building the strength in the fingers of our young students. Sticking foam stickers or even simple activities like placing the button on a particular pattern is of extreme importance. Some other activities are like tracing, coloring within the line, mazes, dot to dot, origami. That's a big one because it's important to fold it correctly with the right amount of pressure, and all our art activities. All types of painting, whether it's painting with your finger or with a earbud, the list is endless. But every time we work with our children, we are building many skills without even realizing it. So here are a list of some activities. Manipulating Play-Doh and clay. So whether it's rolling the Play-Doh like a snake or just making balls out of it, we could either make the balls with our palm or even use our fingers to make the ball. We are strengthening our hands and fingers. Play-Doh is also a lot of fun. Tearing and crumpling paper. So when we ask our students to tear the paper, again, the control is important, and even while crumpling, if they just crumple it slightly and throw it, we should ask them to crumple it properly. Again, when the pressure is more, it strengthens our fingers. Squeezing squirt bottles. Again, it's a lot of fun. Everyday activities such as opening containers and jars, watering the plants, and all the other chores around the house are fun for our students. Popping bubble paper, hole punching a paper, sorting beans and beads. So we must notice the fingers that are used to sort. Are we using the index finger and the thumb? We should correct our students at an early age because it's always easier to teach at a younger age than to unlearn and learn again at an older age. Pre-writing shapes and buttoning. So even buttoning and lacing are difficult skills for some students. So we start with threading and lacing with a variety of sized laces. They could be from thick strings going on to thinner strings. Stringing beads, again, with starting with big beads, then going on to smaller beads, or using a plastic rope or just a plain thread. Use of scissors, picking objects with tongs or clothespin. Craft activities, peeling and sticking stickers. They're all a lot of fun and very, very important. A favorite with most children are the Lego blocks. Again, we start with the big blocks and then reducing the size to the smaller ones. And sometimes the smaller ones are a challenge for many students. Scoop and pour. Even the activity of just pouring water or taking maybe a marble with a spoon and then putting it in a plate builds many skills. Drawing on vertical surfaces like blackboard or painting on an easel, even placing magnets on a refrigerator will help. They have to realize how much pressure to put, when and how. So moving ahead, we will discuss the development of the grasp over the years. Well, a child starts with a pincer grasp. Moving on, they have the quadrupod grasp, the static tripod grasp, and the ultimate goal would be a dynamic tripod grasp. Now, what is static and dynamic? Static is when the grasp may be perfect, where we are using the two fingers with the thumb, and we actually move the hand to manipulate the pencil. As the kids grow older, they will only use their fingers to move. They will not move their wrist. So that is the ultimate goal. I would like to add that there are many different grasps, and if the child is very comfortable in writing it and has no pain, it may not be necessary to change the grasp. This is just to introduce you to the grasp that is most conventionally used. Inefficient pencil grasps can be very painful and they should be changed if the students cannot draw or write neatly and if they cause excess hand fatigue. So in the initial years they may be comfortable, but when the writing increases, trouble also increases. So here are a few exercises to improve hand and finger mobility. Whether it's just clenching the fist, stretching the fingers, making an O, squeezing a tennis ball, you can try and enjoy whatever you like. So moving on to the pre-grip skills. Body awareness is important, and for this building of gross motor skills is extremely important. Going to the park, we build so many skills there, whether it's on the swing or slide or jungle gym. Throwing a ball, catching a ball, they're all an important part. Finger awareness. Students should be introduced to the names of the fingers so that they can be explained. When we're talking about use the thumb and the index finger, they know exactly what we are talking about. With poems like Where is Thumbkin, it can just be made a lot of fun. Also, nursery rhymes like Incy Wincy Spider. The movement is important and not all students can do it. So the control is actually built through songs like these. Then we move on to working with a crayon. At a younger age, we are not focusing on the pencil. We will start with a crayon. And why a crayon? Because crayons, one, they're colorful and we have them in all different sizes, thickness and length. So if we find that the child is comfortable with a thicker or a thinner crayon, you can always modify that. Even the length, if they find a shorter one is more comfortable, you can just break it. To start with, we have to just ask them to make strokes. So you ask them to drop the crayon, take it back up. Now, if we are tracing and we ask them to do rainbow writing, which is you ask them to do it maybe in 5 or 7 colors, what are we actually doing? We are placing the crayon, picking it up, tracing, putting it back, taking another one. Now this builds the muscle memory. And this is extremely important, the grip to become automatic. Please note there is no pressure on letter formation here. We are not working on any letters or numbers. They're plain strokes. You could make flowers and the students make the stalk, make a sun and they make the rays. I mean, you could just have fun with it. The point is of having the right grasp and making the strokes. So as kids grow older, there are a few strategies to improve the grip.
The first strategy is the pick and flip. You ask the students to pick the pencil using the thumb, index finger and the tall man, pick it up and flip it. So we explain that this is the head and this is the pillow. Again, we pick it up and flip it. Next strategy is to place a cotton ball or a little ball where we use the last 2 fingers to hold it, these 3 fingers to hold the pencil. So this makes it very comfortable to write. Next is the rubber band trick, where you place the rubber band and you ask the students to hold it, and this will help them understand where to hold the pencil. The metal binder clip. Just by placing this metal binder, we ask them to put the index finger on the top and it naturally forms a good grip and they write comfortably.
The posture is also very important. When a student is sitting, make sure he's sitting with his back straight and feet grounded on the floor. If his feet don't reach the floor, feel free to put a shoebox or a stool. Even the arm position is important. Slant the paper a little bit and have him write with the right pencil grip. This will all have a good effect on writing. Some kids also have an issue with the pressure to understand the right pencil pressure. Please note at a young age, whatever we have discussed about the fine motor skills will only help. But as the kids grow older, here are a few things you can do. Check the grip. You can ask them to trace shapes of a tracing paper or carbon paper. So basically, if they've drawn a triangle on a tracing paper, they have to again go over it to print it on the sheet they are working with. Shading, going from light to dark. This is to realize the difference in the amount of pressure put. You could also practice letter formation over a foam sheet, like a mouse pad, or just keep that below and again they will realize the amount of pressure needed. At an older age, you can also use mechanical pencils because if the pressure is too much, the lead will break and they will realize it. Color by number activity can be done with a pressure component. So how you have like 1 is red, 2 is yellow, you can have 1 as red, 2 as light green, 3 as light blue, so on and so forth. So to conclude, pre-writing skills are essential for the child to be able to develop the ability to hold and move a pencil fluently and effectively to therefore produce legible writing, which is our ultimate goal. Thank you.